All right, welcome back everybody, and welcome to the month of February. For February being the shortest month, it has been a very interesting one. In fact, so many things occurred this month, I decided to break up the series of videos into two parts. So here in a little bit, you'll see that we received record snowfall for our area, the most snow that we have ever experienced in the 10 years that we've lived here in Jacksonville, North Carolina, all the way to the end of the month, where we have nice, bright, sunny days with temperatures in the low 70s. In fact, as you're watching this video, the start of part one, we are 16 days from spring, and I cannot be any more excited. One more thing to mention real quick, the North Carolina State Beekeepers Association had their spring meeting this month, and as you can see, I did fairly well. Stay tuned to catch a few clips of that. Without further ado, let's get started with part one. Before we do, I appreciate y'all. Please subscribe if you haven't. If you're a returning viewer, again, thank you for sticking around. All right, enough me yapping. Let's get started with part one. Good morning and welcome to February. So here it is, Sunday, February 1st, right after 8 o'clock, and I think the weather guessers may have had it right because I think we have 10 to 12 inches of snow. So the current temp is 20 degrees, 80% humidity, and if I go over to the phone weather apps, let me share a few things with you, right? It feels like it is 4 degrees. It is currently 21 degrees below our average. 11.6 inches of snow in the last 24 hours. And it is going to stay for a while because today's high is 33 degrees, and that is at 3 p.m. And then it starts cooling off again real quick with a low of 11 tonight. And then tomorrow, being Monday, tomorrow's high is 37, and then a low Monday night into Tuesday morning of 17. So I don't think this weather, or I'm sorry, I don't think this snow is going to clear up until Wednesday, because Tuesday's high is 45, which will make a huge difference, but I don't think it is going to go anywhere anytime soon. All right, folks, let's go check out the bee yard. I don't know if you can tell or not, this has to be close to a foot of snow. It is absolutely beautiful and concerning for the bees, of course. Holy smokes, I have never seen the yard like this. Check this out. We'll walk around like usual. There's obviously not going to be anything to really look at, but let's go check it out. I mean, if that's an indication of how much snow we received. All right, definitely need to fix that. All right, well, I just did as much as I possibly can. coming out here without any tools to clear the fourth strand of wire on the electric fence. Is it going to make a difference? I have no idea, but we got quite a bit of snow. So yeah, I just used my feet to just move the snow out as best as I could from the bottom wire there. But honestly, it is beautiful. All right, hey, welcome back everybody. So here it is, Monday, February 2nd, 12:45. The temperature is 42 degrees. It feels like 35. And considering it's been above freezing for maybe an hour or two, and we have a few hours remaining in the day for the temps to warm up even a little more, I am out here to clear off the entrances, because even though today's temps aren't really going to get high enough to see flight activity, tomorrow should be completely different. So again, I just wanted to get out here today, clear off the entrances in preparation for tomorrow. Also, obviously, opening up the entrances will help the hives breathe a little better, but I didn't want to be the reason to cause any delays for tomorrow. As long as the temperatures don't change, the high, the last time I looked, will be early afternoon hours, so probably like now, but the high will be in the mid 40s, mid to maybe lower 40s. So I'm just going to switch off the fence here in a second, find a stick preferably, because I don't have any gloves on, and just clear off the entrances where the opening is on the entrance reducer. I intentionally left the snow in place for the first day, which is something I've never done before, but I would like to believe as the seasons go by and I may learn a little more year to year, I decided to leave the snow in place to act as an insulator, only because of the temps. The temps throughout the day did not get above freezing, and if they did, it was just for like an hour or two and then immediately below freezing for the entire night. So I figured if I just left the snow in place, the hives would be well insulated. But considering today's temps are warmer than yesterday, and then again leading into tomorrow, I figured why not get out here, clean off the entrances, and then definitely get out here tomorrow to hopefully see flight activity on all of the hives. All right, let's do this. Shouldn't take long at all. Found the stick. Yeah, there's not much to it, and I have the entrance openings. They're all on the right, so honestly, that's all there is to it. There's no real need to clean off the entire entrance. I guess that's the point I was getting to. So as long as you know where your entrance openings are. Oh yeah, you can definitely see. Yeah, you're gonna find that, if you can see that or not. There's gonna be some dead bees right at the entrance. Entrances, probably, just because they hang out there too long, I guess. They succumb to the cold. But yeah, that's all there is to it. I'm not gonna show you every single one, but I'm sure you get the idea. All right, all done. Pretty quick work. Looking at the weather, right now, according to the weather app, 35 degrees with a high of 36 at 4 p.m. and then it starts cooling off. And again, if things don't change, tonight's low is going to be about 15, and where we currently are, we know our temps are about 5 degrees cooler than what the phone weather app says, so we could get down to 10 degrees or maybe even single digits. But Tuesday's high and Wednesday's high is going to be 46 and 47 degrees. However, There's always something, right? However, Wednesday indicates 95%, and it looks like it's not the snow icon. It looks like it's a cloud with rain, and I'm assuming that means sleet. So wonderful, right? And then Thursday, 75%. But as some of y'all know, the weather changes pretty quickly and is pretty unpredictable for the most part. So we shall see. But fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed that we can get at least 2 nice warm days to melt most of this. And hopefully that sleet passes us by. All right, that's it for me today. So peace of mind, definitely I have that now that the entrances are cleaned off and open. So as soon as the weather warms up, I know I am not the limiting factor to the bees getting out and making some cleansing flights, so on and so forth. And you can rest assured I will be out here tomorrow afternoon when the temp is at its high to hopefully see flight activity on all of the hives. And like I said, at some point, whether it was the end of January, it was probably the end of January's video. There are, not that you can see them right now, but there are 7 hives that have sticks on top of the top cover as a marker, an indicator that they are the first ones I need to look at to see if they have completely consumed their fondant patty. Because when I looked at them, maybe, let's see, probably Saturday, they were running pretty low, but not low enough for me to replace it just then, because they had some fondant left. Enough for 4 days. So actually, with tomorrow being Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, I believe it was Saturday when I looked at them. Regardless, as soon as it warms up tomorrow, I'll probably push whatever remaining snow off of the top cover to check those 7, quickly lift the lid and see if they need fondant. And if they need fondant, I'm definitely going to replace it. And I guess to wrap things up, one of the nice things with how I have the hives configured, I have on the top box, the inner cover, and then a shim for the fondant, and then the outer cover. So the reason I did that, which was not initially how I had them configured, but the reason I changed it to that configuration was so I could lift the lids, quickly look at the fondant to see if they need to be replaced without fully exposing the hive, because the fondant patty covers the inner cover hole. It's not 100% weatherproof, or it doesn't completely seal the hole and guard against cold temperatures, but it does help a little bit. So again, I'll be out here tomorrow to do all those things. Definitely take a look at those 7, replace the fondant if they need it, and of course I'll share that with y'all. So like I try not to say, but I actually say more often than I intend to, stay tuned. All right, folks, hey, welcome back. It is now Tuesday, February 3rd, right before 11 o'clock. Let's talk about the temperature, because this is where things get kind of interesting. So according to the phone's weather app, it is 37 degrees, and today's high will occur between 3 and 4 p.m., which is 46 degrees. Now, if I switch over to the accurate weather sensor that I have right here on our property, the current temperature is 45 degrees and 41% humidity. And then if I switch over to the hourly, today's high, well, it also says it'll be 46 between 3 and 4 p.m. So in preparation for today's weather, I came out yesterday afternoon, I think around maybe 4 p.m. The temps were right around 40 degrees, and hopefully you can tell, but I ended up clearing off the entrances just where the entrance reducers are, which is on the right side of all the hives. So a few things, right? Not exactly Well, I was going to say not exactly warm enough. I may have totally missed that one. I will get to that right now. Not exactly warm enough for the bees to be flying, probably because they're still in the shade, but I would imagine once the sun peeks over the trees, I'll show you that here in a second, we should see some flight activity this afternoon, especially around maybe 2 to 3, well, 2 to 4 o'clock. And this is what I'm talking about. So you can see the sun is right there. And by the time it gets over here, these hives will definitely be in direct sunlight like they are every afternoon. So again, at this point, probably like a lot of beekeepers right now in this area, we are just keeping our fingers crossed to see some flight activity soon. Whether that's this afternoon with today's highs again, or perhaps tomorrow afternoon, because tomorrow afternoon should be the same. It should be about in the mid 40s again, unless something has drastically changed. Nope. Yeah, Wednesday's high, probably about the same time, is going to be 47. Thursday it gets cold. Friday it warms up again. In fact, man, that's awesome. Friday it finally starts to warm up with highs in the mid to upper 40s. And then Tuesday and beyond, unless something changes, Tuesday and beyond, we're going to have some temps in the low 50s and low 60s on next Wednesday and Thursday. So again, fingers crossed, right? All right, I'm just going to clear that one hive that I may have completely overlooked yesterday, but that's it for now. I will come back out here this afternoon, probably around 3 o'clock, and hopefully we see some flight activity. But if we don't, maybe they're still clustered, but tomorrow's a whole new story. And if you can't see or hear that, the snow is definitely melting because it's starting to fall from the from the trees. All right, stay tuned. Again, fingers crossed for this afternoon, but yeah, that's all I can do right now is just hope for the best. I don't want to lift any of the lids. There's a lot of snow on top still, as you can see. I'm just going to let nature do its thing, but I'm really hoping to see some flight activity this afternoon. It is just after 12:30, and I am walking out to the yard way sooner than I thought I would because our weather station is telling me that it is 52 degrees and 38% humidity, whereas the phone app is saying it is 43 degrees. So we usually have a slight difference in temps, but not that much usually. I don't see any activity. That is not true. We have some activity. Let's go see what that looks like. Okay, I swear I was not making that up. All right. Let's just walk on down. So far, nothing, but I did see a bee, which doesn't really mean much, honestly. Okay, well, it is still early. Yeah, no real activity just yet. All right, so got a little excited looking at the temps and seeing they warmed up a lot faster than I thought they would. The plan still remains in place, meaning I will come out here around 3 o'clock, give you an update, and if the weather is even more favorable, which I really hope it is, at this rate, I mean, it's possible we could see temps close to 60. And that is warm enough for me to be comfortable enough to get into the 7 that I made a note of, that they are the ones that definitely need a resupply of fondant before any others. I will make it a point to do that today as long as I'm able to. All right, well, hey, 2.5 hours from now, I'll be out here and we'll see what that looks like. As promised, folks, let's go take a look. So it's just about 2 o'clock. It's 52 degrees, and if there's not any or a lot of flight activity, I have an idea. And that idea is perhaps because the hives are still covered in snow. Sunlight is not getting to the top of the covers to warm them up, which is probably where the bees are clustering. And looking around, not seeing any activity. However, let's walk around, see what the front actually looks like, and then I will share my idea. Meaning, my idea to possibly help the hives increase their temps by removing some of the snow on top. And so far, I'm not seeing any activity, which at this point I'm still not concerned. 2x6, probably as wide as the top cover. I'm just gonna push all the snow off. All right, so a little bit of an update. It's 2:45 now. I just popped the tops on all of the hives, and more good news than bad. So the short version is I lost 2, which are number 13 and another one down the line. So the other thing that I gained by checking the hives quickly is that 3 of them, I have notes in hive tracks, but 3 of them need a resupply of fondant, which is exactly what I'm out here to do. But before I get busy with that, I'll just pop one of the lids and give you a quick look. This is number 12 down in the very first position. Very much still with us. And then right next to him, number 24, same thing. All right, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'll share some clips or show you the end result. But yeah, unfortunately, let's see, I marked this one right here. So number 13, and then, oh, here we go, number 15 right here. So as I was popping the lids, right, no bees in the fondant, which doesn't really mean much, but then, yeah, there you go. Just didn't survive the cold. All right, let me get to it so I'm not wasting too much time out here, because it is starting to cool off, but I do have a little bit of time to get this done. And again, it's only 3 hives, so it shouldn't take that long anyway. All right, down here at number 9, I just finished with 24. So I was surprised that I said they needed a refresh, because that was the second hive that I showed y'all just now to show they're still alive. But hey, if that's what I determined not that long ago, hey, so be it. So here we go. We'll see how this goes. Number 9. Yeah. And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think I have a way to do this based off my 1 success down with number 9 to not mess them up too much. Meaning what you're looking at right here, probably, with all the bees in the top box on the current fondant patty. So I'm going to put the new one on them. All right, there you go, over the hole. And then, in an effort to help all the bees get out of the bag, and so they can still use whatever fondant's left, is I am simply placing a stick under the new bag so they can continue to crawl in and out of this bag. All right, good for now. All right, the very next hive, oh, is actually the one right next to it. And check this out. All right, there you have it, folks. Easy peasy. Not really, but whatever. Let's get this stick. Gosh damn it. Let's get this stick slid in there. All right, I feel better. I feel better now because they've been refreshed with some food. As I'm finishing up out here, let's just take a quick look. So this is 13. I really just want to get things cleaned up because we do have some warmer temps coming our way. I mean, it's not for a few days, but I just don't want to run the risk of any additional problems in case I don't get to the hive and clean everything up in time. I'll just show you some highlights as I go through them. But here's a little bit of a closer up than possibly before. All right, let me go through this and see what I can figure out. No sign of the queen just yet, which obviously doesn't matter, but I'm gonna shake all these bees off because you can see some capped brood on that side, and I think you can see a little more on this side. Yep, sure enough, should have been laying for a little bit. Man, that just, it stinks. That's what it does. Yeah, sure enough, right? Just a small colony. All right, down here at number 10, which is the other colony that obviously did not make it. You can only do so much. It does suck. All right, let's move through a few frames real quick. I'll show you anything worthwhile, of course, so just give me a second and we'll see if I don't know, we'll see what we can find out. All right, so down here at number 10, got all the bees shook out of the medium box, and unlike the other colony, I would say this was a decent size colony, which just makes it sting even more. All right, I'm gonna continue cleaning up the bottom box. Again, I'll show you anything worthwhile. All right, that's the aftermath, folks. And you know what's interesting is between this hive so far and the other dead out, unlike previous years, I have had no luck with locating the queen. They were all marked, in case I haven't said that recently. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but yeah, no kidding. They were all marked going into winter. I refreshed a few of them as well. And I have found queens before in previous years on dead outs very easily. They are usually just frozen in time with the rest of the colony of bees just on one of the frames, but yeah, no luck this year. All right, I just wanted to take a quick peek into 22. That was the colony from a few moments ago. I refreshed their fondant patty, and they had a ton of bees in the bag. Let's see if they've settled down yet and adjusted to the new bag. Not yet. All right, let's just walk around the front since I've been out here and I've disturbed some of... Hold on a sec. I was finishing up and about to head back in. Totally forgot about number 15. They bit the bullet too. All right, like usual, anything interesting, I'll share that with you. All right, I told you I would share anything interesting, so here we go. All right, just tearing through 15 just to see what was going on or whatever happened, but check that out. There's a queen right there. Right here. Unmarked too. So that definitely makes me wonder how many other queens I've had that are not marked. That is something else. And since it's been over a month since the winter solstice, no promises or guarantees if this is going to come up or not, but surprisingly, I do not see any eggs. All right, folks, I am wrapping things up. So it's about 3:45. I think I've been out here for maybe an hour. And to sum things up, lost 3. Fed 3 and lost 3, which kind of stinks. One was a single deep, not that that really matters, but as I open them up, they do look like a rather small colony. And here is, well, here's what's left of them. And if you don't keep bees, you know, that may look like a lot of bees to folks. But as we walk down the line here, I think that was number 3. Here's number 15. Number 15, I would consider them to be a larger colony. And it might not really be easy to assess because they're scattered all over the place, but I assure you that was a decent sized colony. And then down here, I think this was number 10, second to last. Not as big as that one, but check it out. Yeah, so that's it for today. All right, yeah, so what else can I possibly say? Let's look at the weather real quick if I can get this thing working with one hand and my bee gloves, which aren't really made to use electronics. So again, just looking at the phone's weather app, tonight's low is going to be possibly 35. Actually, let me just scroll a little bit if I can get this to work. Yeah. Well, 33 at 11 p.m. and then it starts warming up from midnight all the way through, well, daybreak. Let's see. Yep. With a high of 48. However, the icon, it looks like sleet. It's probably just rain. The following day, Thursday, a high of 38. And then Friday through the following Thursday, so several days, nothing but sunshine with some highs in the high 40s to the low 40s, back to the high 40s, and then Tuesday 56, Wednesday 64, and then Thursday 62. So I know I'm looking forward to some warm days, especially after this. I'm pretty sure the bees are, so they can get out and stretch their legs and wings. But no kidding, it sucks to lose any. It's bound to happen. I have been doing all the things that I can possibly do, which is mainly feeding them. Speaking of, I have some pollen inbound. It should be here on Thursday, I believe. And with the warm temps coming up, that is going to be the next priority, is to add at least half a pound of a pollen patty to every single hive and just keep adding them until springtime. All right, stay tuned. We'll see how the rest of the month goes. But honestly, if I can just pull through with what I have, I'll take my losses now as long as I can maintain the rest. Hey, good morning, everybody. So it is Thursday, February 5th, right at 10:30. The temperature is a chilly 33 degrees. We did get some light rain yesterday, which has really helped melt the snow and clear the roads. But I am heading over to New Bern, which is just shy of an hour drive, for the State Beekeeping Association spring meeting. They have it in New Bern every 2 years, which is kind of nice for everybody that lives in the general area, and making an hour drive is a lot better than the 4-hour drive for most of like where the summer meetings are at. But yeah, I'll just share some clips from today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Entering a few entries into their artisan contest. My entries, as you'll see here in a second, are for photography, electronic media, and honey label. And unlike last time, based off memory, they're having a black label honey tasting contest at the state level. So that's kind of cool. And maybe I'll make it a point to go to the spring meeting this year, even though it is a, it's a multi-day out of the area event, which would require a hotel room, and it's just expensive for what it is, right? But I've been doing this long enough. I've never attended a summer meeting yet, mostly because I'm usually not available due to work. But now that that's kind of changed recently and I have a little more stability, I have been interested in entering my honey into their honey contest, which is not a tasting contest, but a true state honey level, or a state level honey contest. So either way, again, 10:30, I should be there by 11:30. Things get going today at noon, so unless traffic or something drastically changes, I am right on track for my plan, which was to arrive about 30 minutes early to get all my artisan entries entered. And then, again, things get going at noon today. All right, hey, stay tuned and I'll show you some interesting things from the meeting. All right, folks, made it down here right on time. Got down here right at 11:30, about 15 minutes ago. So it's 11:45 now. Checked in, got all my entries entered into the Artisan Show. I'll show you a clip of that here in a second once I walk back in. But yeah, let's have a good day at the spring meeting. Not a lot of people here, surprisingly. I was able to pull up, find a parking spot, and yeah, unlike last time.
I finally got his phone number and I talked to him. And I said, I heard you did the research. How many beetles did you start with? A bunch. Well, how much candy did you put in the hives? A handful. How often did you put them in? When it was gone.
All right, so it's just about 5 o'clock. I'm on the way home now. Not a bad first day. The guest speakers were good. Some were more interesting than others, you know, kind of to be expected, right? Some kept things very, very basic, which is fine with the mixed crowd and everything. 2024, in my opinion, the guest speakers were a lot better. So I'll just leave it at that. Got all my entries, as y'all saw, got all my entries entered into the Artisan show. Based off memory, just because I'm driving right now, I made a note to myself, but based off memory, as of today, there were 2 entries, one being mine for the honey label category. There was 3 black and whites, one being mine as well. 2 portraits, one being mine. And what's the other category? Open, maybe 4, I think about 4. So if I said 4 photos just now, portrait, open, black and white. Oh, macro. Macro had the most, and there are some really, really good photos. So as far as the macro category, in my opinion, I think some other folks have way better pictures than mine. I mean, unbelievably awesome. I think awesome macro photos. I mean, I would vote for them. And 2 electronic media. So I say all that to say this: tomorrow is Friday. Same thing as today. The first few hours from like 8 to 11 or 8 to noon or something like that is another open day for folks to enter into the artisan competition. So we'll see how tomorrow looks. I'll swing by on the way out just to see if anybody else has submitted entries. And the black jar, that's the other one. The black jar, I believe, pure guess because I didn't really look too closely, but so far maybe a dozen entries. So altogether, let's see, I have 4 photos, electronic media, honey label, that's 6, and the black jar, so 7 entries. Wish me luck. I will have a result come Saturday morning. I'll definitely share that no matter what. But just by like pure numbers right now, probability, I feel like I stand a pretty good chance. However, I'll also say this, the directions, the rules to the Artisan Show, just because there's low entries, that doesn't guarantee a first or second place finish. It actually doesn't guarantee any sort of finish. It has, like, the entry has to meet all the criteria, of course. And the reason that crossed my mind is, one, because of the lower entries. But 2024, I think I was the only electronic media entry, and I received a 3rd place ribbon. I couldn't wrap my head around that until I reread the rules, and I guess it makes sense. Share your thoughts, not clickbait like I say occasionally, but yeah, definitely share your thoughts on that in the comments. If there's 1 entry or say 2 entries and it meets the criteria for the most part, I guess, you know, why would they not place them? I don't know, honestly, but I also don't write the rules, and I am totally fine with that. All right, I'll be home in an hour, but that's it for today. Stay tuned. We'll see what tomorrow looks like. I don't remember what the schedule says, but I do know tomorrow starts early. Tomorrow starts a lot earlier than today. It starts at 8. I think I said that earlier. And the weather is even more unfavorable, meaning the temperatures are actually going to get back below freezing tonight. They're going to be barely below freezing at daybreak as I am getting on the road to head back over here. And just like the entire week, Onslow County schools are closed again tomorrow due to the weather. The roads are totally clear, as y'all saw in the B-roll footage coming here. The NCDOT has done a fantastic job clearing the highways, at least. But my only concern, obviously, is the temps with the moisture. But I'm going to give it a try. I'm just going to drive a little slower, so I might have to leave a little earlier. But yeah, stay tuned. We'll see what tomorrow looks like. And again, I'll breeze by the Artisan competition area, the Artisan contest, I think is what it's called. And we'll see if any more entries are made during tomorrow's submission window. All right, check this out. As I wrap things up, I don't know how well it's going to come up, but according to my car's temperature gauge, it is 36 degrees. And if you can tell or not, it is like a very, very, very faint snowfall, which is the last thing I thought I would expect on the way home today. All right, hey, good morning, everybody. So here it is the following day. It's Friday, February 6th, right at 8 o'clock. Call to order either is happening now or happening here in 15 minutes. I am just getting on the road. Again, it's an hour drive, so I'll get there about 9 o'clock. I decided to leave a little later today because it was 19 degrees about an hour ago. So I wanted to wait and let things warm up. And here we are again, 8 o'clock, and it has warmed up to 29 degrees. So we still have some unusual cold weather for us. My concern was making an hour drive, sub-freezing temps, ice, black ice, all those things, right? So I'm gonna miss the first half of the first presentation, which is on beeswax, but I should get there about 9 o'clock. And let's see, the study hall, I believe that starts at 9:30, which is one of the things I am semi-interested in attending. It's about, if I remember right, it's about an hour. And then that goes on for an hour from maybe 9:30 to 10:30. The one class ends around 9:30 or so. So either way, not missing too much. And as interesting as beeswax is and how to collect it and process it, and most likely value-added products you can make being presented and discussed, it's not exactly something I'm into at the moment. However, that can change in the future. So anyway, yeah, stay tuned. I'll show you some clips throughout the day. I'll try to show a few more clips throughout the day because yesterday I feel like I really didn't share all that much. And you can tell from the one angle during the presentation on mint or peppermint in the hive and small hive beetles. You know, I'm trying not to be that guy with a camera. So I was trying to record from a semi-discreet angle, and I'm sure the audio is probably not that great just because how the GoPro is configured with the microphone. And when I disconnect the microphone, it's using the GoPro Media Mod, which from testing the 3 different configurations in that previous video, the Media Mod, it might be better than the GoPro's internal camera, but I feel like it's not terribly better. The audio just sounded odd to me. It sounded off. There was maybe some clipping, or I don't know how to describe it, but it didn't sound as good as what I'm used to from just the GoPro internal microphone. All right, enough of me yapping. Again, good morning. It's Friday morning. Back to the state conference. I'll be there shortly after 9 o'clock. Walk around the Artisan Show like yesterday. We'll see how many more people have made entries. The entry cutoff, I believe, is 11:30 or 12, and then the judging is this afternoon. So fingers crossed. I would love to have at least one first place finish at the state level. Multiple would be even better, obviously, but at least one in photography or even in the electronic media, which is something that I enjoy doing, I'm proud of, and yeah, so we'll see. I'll be there in a little bit. All right, just got down here. It's 9 o'clock. I managed to get a nice parking spot right on the street, close to where I was yesterday. And I'm looking at the weather app right now. It says it is 30 degrees down here, and it has to be kind of dry because I was surprised. Got out of the car, opened the door, didn't really feel a need for a jacket. I'm just looking for, can't figure out where the humidity is on this thing. But yeah, no kidding. Oh, here we go. Feels like 28. Humidity is 64%. And surprisingly, it does not feel cold whatsoever. All right, about to walk in, take a quick peek into the Artisan area, and then sit through the rest of the presentation, and then make it upstairs for a little bit of a study group.
And we can't be more appreciative than what all of you guys have been doing on many, many different fronts. And I'm not going to kind of just go over all of those things. Everybody knows how thankful we are and how much has been going on. I'm just going to, again, give a very kind of brief taste of that. We're actually just kind of going about normal business, even though this is not going to be a normal year. We have a lot of things planned for this spring. Kind of ignoring the fact that in the middle of the busiest part of the research season, we're going to be moving into this new building. So we kind of haven't kind of thought about that. We're just kind of pretending those things are separate in different universes or something. But it's really super exciting, and again, we just can't be any more thankful. I'm going to start out, again, as always, all right, welcome back, everybody. So Friday has come to an end, and it's 2:30. I left about 15 minutes ago, so right at maybe 2:15. And today is the long day. Today actually goes all the way till 5:30. So let's talk about that. I'm not dogging anybody, and I know everybody has their own opinion, but honestly, this year really just hasn't been that exciting, or at least this meeting. The speakers have been so-so, some better than others. I think I said that yesterday. And if I ever had the opportunity to give any advice or suggestions to the state, and this just isn't me, this is basically what I've learned talking to a few other beekeepers. Maybe it's hard to get folks to present. I don't know, but bringing people in from out of the area to where their climates are drastically different than ours, talking about overwintering and spring management and swarm catching. I just have a hard time relating, and it's not just me. Again, other folks have been saying the same thing. I just have a hard time relating because, you know, if you're from the if you're from the Northeast or from the West Coast, I mean, you know, it's just totally different. So that's that, off the soapbox. I also decided to leave early because it does give me a few more hours today to study for tomorrow. So fingers crossed. Self-doubt is usually high when it comes to test taking, especially if I feel like I'm not prepared, which is exactly how I feel. So wish me luck for the master written exam. That's what I'll be doing tomorrow. And then I already decided that I will take advantage of either the summer meeting or a special testing event. Hopefully the state has one, and that's when I will take a crack at the practical exams, which for master, if you don't know, you have to pass 9 in total. So I passed 5 for the journeyman. So basically, of the 10 options, I need 4 more. So that's that. Plus, today's temperatures, I believe, are a little more warm than the weather apps indicated this morning. So for instance, right now, I'm still about 40 minutes or 37 miles away from home. The current temp, according to the car gauge, is 48 degrees. I looked at the Apiary weather station temps before starting to make this video, and it is 52 degrees and 42% at the house. So considering I'll be home just after 3 o'clock, the temps should be basically the same or at the highest for the day. I'm definitely walking out to the yard and I really hope to see activity on all the remaining hives. So again, 40 minutes from now, about a quarter after 3, we'll see what that looks like. But just a summary from today, it was nice catching up with a few folks that I haven't seen or talked to in quite a while, former members of the county club that I was a member of. I've moved on, or decided to move on this year. I am now a member at large, which means you're just not associated with a county chapter. But I've also moved on to a few other things. I don't want to say bigger and better, but to go from county level to state level in a leadership position, I feel that's just, I feel like it's going to be time better spent. That's kind of the long and short of it. All right, enough yapping for now. Again, I'll be home 3:15. Say hi to the family. Straight out to check the bees. All right, right on time. So it's about 3:15. The temperature really hasn't changed much from what I mentioned earlier. It's 52 degrees. Let me flip the camera around real quick. This is going to be a first look at the hives, but yeah, let me just show you real quick how much snow has melted in the last day or two. It is amazing how quickly things look differently. All right, I will say this much. There is a chill in the air. However, as you can see, or not see, I do not see any activity. So, let's walk around and see if the front looks any different. All right, a glimmer of hope on the first hive here. So we got a little activity there. When I say a little, I mean a little. And nothing else to speak of so far at all. It is chilly back here. I was surprised given the temps and everything, but as y'all saw, I think I recorded this, as y'all saw the other day. Yeah, that's right, because I was replacing fondant patties. They're alive. I mean, they're in there, or they were a few days ago before the storm, eating the fondant. So it's cold enough to where I really don't want to open them up. Actually, let's walk around and at least pop the tops and just take a little peek. All right, this is number 12, because I can reach this one from outside of the electric fence. So they're still in there doing okay. This is the very next one. 24. All right, looks like they're accessing the new fondant, and they can still get the old fondant. I think I can reach 11. I really don't want to get shocked here. Oh boy, nothing. No, that's not true. There's AB. There's AB up there. And number 19. Yeah, they're still doing okay. All right. Number 20. I'm getting like extremely close to probably shocking myself. Nothing in the fondant. It's hard to tell from this angle. And that is the last one that I can reach. You know what? Since I'm out here, let's just get in there and look at the rest of them, because why not? All right, I left off at 20 from reaching over the electric fence. It doesn't look promising. Let's come back to that one. 14. Nothing. Okay. 6. Yeah, they're definitely in there. It's interesting that some colonies, as you can see, as soon as you lift the lid, I mean, no doubt they're on the fondant, and others aren't whatsoever. What is this, 7? Yep. 25. Oh yeah. 18. Yeah, no doubt. Number 9. Yep, I can hear them as soon as I crack that lid. What is this, 22? Yep, ooh, a lot of moisture, but that's okay. And number 8. None in the fondant, but I think this is one of the hives that I cracked apart and I could tell instantly. So let's try that real quick. All right, hopefully this doesn't bite me in the butt. Oh yeah, okay. They're still alive. They're just not on the fondant, but I think they're right about here. Let's walk down, and I have already forgotten which hives did not have any bees on the fondant patty. I think they were down this way a bit. Number 6 maybe? No, definitely not 6. They're busy. 14? Yeah, 14. Let's see if they're in there. I do not need to see them. If I can hear them, they are in there, and that is good enough for me, because as I'm crouching down and lifting the 2 top boxes apart, the last thing I want to do is be greeted by a whole bunch of bees to my face. All right, so that was 14. They're good. 20's in their top box. 19's good to go. 11 has more bees in there. Maybe just disturbing them a little bit by lifting the lid has prompted them, or some of them, to get into the fondant. I swear there was like, is this 14? Yeah, I just looked at them. They're fine. 6 is in there. I don't know. I feel like I'm going crazy half the time. I swear there was like a few, right? There was like a few that were questionable, but I'm just checking everything 2 or 3 times at this point. Yeah, they're definitely in there. They're in there, and I just checked that one, so I honestly don't know at this point what I initially saw. So I've checked them all, I feel like, at least twice. They all have bees. Yeah, they all have bees for sure. So, all right, that is good news. And this is exactly what I was saying. As y'all saw when I first came out here, absolutely no activity on the hive in the second position. So maybe just disturbing them by checking the lid, or lifting the lid. Same thing with this one. I mean, there was no activity on any of the hives really. So all is well. All right. I feel like sometimes with bees and beekeeping, I feel like sometimes it's just simply peace of mind, and how much peace of mind can give you. And what not a better way to get some peace of mind than just coming out to the yard and checking. So activity in all the hives. You saw not all the hives have activity on the fondant patty, but simply cracking the 2 boxes apart, I just need to hear some buzzing. I definitely wasn't going to put my face down there. So, all right, that's good, because let me switch over to the weather app real quick, talk about some numbers. And the reason I was concerned, if you couldn't tell, in the last 24 hours, yeah, our low was this morning at 6:15. It was 19 degrees, which isn't terribly low. I also don't know what the wind chill is. And then on the 2nd, February 2nd, so just a few days ago, the low was 11 degrees, and that was at 2:40 in the morning. So yeah, we've definitely had a cold winter, and it is stressful. But I have some Hive Alive pollen patties. I'm trying them for the first time. I have some of them coming in
they'll be here Monday. And again, if I look back at the weather apps, next week's temperature, so actually, hold on. Tomorrow's high, Saturday's high is going to be 38, Sunday's 38, Monday's 45. It's kind of manageable. But then Tuesday is a high of 60, and Wednesday is a high of 65. And we also had rain in the forecast for Wednesday, and that's already gone. There's a 50% chance on Thursday, and Thursday's high is 56. So honestly, Tuesday, all right, not really sure what happened. The video just started to freeze up. Y'all didn't really miss too much. I was just summing up the weather for next week by saying Tuesday and beyond, Tuesday through Saturday, with the highs that the weather app currently shows, it is nothing but favorable conditions to get out into the hives, and at a bare minimum, either replace the fondant patties or get in and add the pollen patties. So stand by for that. Between now and then, tomorrow is the last day for the state spring meeting. Again, fingers crossed that I at least place first place in one of the photography categories. It would also be super cool to place in the honey label, but I'll show you all that tomorrow. Tomorrow starts at 8. I plan on getting there at least by 8:30 or 8:45 because the testing starts at 9, with the last test being handed out by 10:30, but I'll be there way before then. And the doors open, the judges open the doors to the ballroom where the artisan entries are at first thing tomorrow. So as soon as I get there, I'll just zip through, look around real quick, since I'll have plenty of time to get upstairs and start on my test. All right, hey, thanks for watching. I'll say that maybe midway through-ish of this month's video series. I appreciate everybody. If you haven't subscribed, obviously, please do so. Every little bit helps me make a few more peanuts and a few more pennies per video. And believe me, it is not much at all. Currently, not retiring early off off YouTube videos. But that's it for me. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens the rest of the month.
All right, good morning, everybody. So that's right, it is Saturday, February 7th, just about 8 o'clock, and I am on my way back to the conference with an arrival time of 8:40. The testing, as I may have mentioned yesterday, starts at 9 o'clock, so I'm going back and forth in my head, and I have been since yesterday, whether or not I want to check out the Artisan Show results, because that will be available to the public as everything opens today at 8, so here in a little bit. So I keep going back and forth in my head whether or not I want to walk through and see the results before I test, or perhaps after I test. Currently, I'm leaning more towards waiting until I'm done testing, just so it's not one of those things that is it's just not one of those things that's on my mind, right? So TBD, I'll give you an update. You'll either see me walking in to test or walking into the Artisan Show next, but I have studied the material as much as I possibly can. I've focused on the areas that were mentioned and suggested to focus on by the state education rep for the Masters and everything, which I will admit are not strong points. I know they're not strong points of mine. They never really have been, which are the glands, the anatomy, a lot of the biology, to put it that way. So we'll see how it goes. If you don't know, it took me twice to pass the journeyman. The first attempt was at the spring conference in 24, and I missed by 2 questions, and I remember, it was a guess because I wasn't sure. I remember guessing on 2 questions they were very similar. They had to do with what the active ingredient is in one of the Varroa treatment options, and I just wasn't familiar with it. I wasn't familiar with it because I don't use it. I've used oxalic acid for years, year round, minus when supers are on, but that's changed recently to where you can use it while supers are on. Bit of a side note now, but reached out to UF, their professor down there, Dr. Jack Kamen, and engaged with him last year, but I believe last year sometime, about oxalic acid and residual components of it in wax. And he shared some information with me from the EPA that I looked up on my own. And yeah, the EPA is not even concerned with oxalic acid in honey anymore. In fact, he said something along the lines, and I'm paraphrasing now, but Dr. Kamen said something along the lines that there's essentially more oxalic acid in broccoli, or he mentioned a common vegetable. So it's very interesting. You can probably look it up if you want. EPA, oxalic acid, and honey. Those key words should get the job done for you. But I digress. Yeah, so I focused on the areas that was mentioned, that was suggested, along with all the other all the other sections and knowledge and information to know. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's a 50-question test. I'm not really sure what the passing rate is. I think it might be 80. So Journeyman was 70 or 75, and Masters is 80. On the flip side, for all the other things you need to advance to the master level, which are the 10 public service credits and 6 subspecialties, I am very close to completing those, and I feel like I have a very solid plan to obtain some of the more hard to get subspecialties throughout this year in the summer, when NC State has a few, they call them academies, bee academies, but when they have a few educational options become available. All right, hey, that was a lot more than I planned on sharing, so I will be there in 40 minutes. I'll try to remember to share a clip of what I decide to do. If I walk into the Artisan Show first, you'll definitely see that. But I have a feeling if I walk straight upstairs to test, I might just forget to pull the GoPro out. But yeah, we'll see here in a little bit. Again, wish me luck. I'll let you know as soon as I find out via the socials, right? Whether I passed or not.
All right, so I ended up taking the test first. That was the short panning clip. That test is a doozy. I'm not very hopeful. I went back through the test several times to count up all the questions that I guessed on and the ones that I'm pretty confident I will not get right. And based off the number of those with the score I need to pass, just like the Journeyman, it's going to be really close. However, on a positive note, I ended up taking the practical. I didn't plan on doing that. For the Journeyman, so there's 10 categories total. For the Journeyman, I took and passed 5 2 years ago. To complete the practical portion of the exams for Master, you need 8 total. So I took 9 total. So I ended up finishing the practical today for Master and passed. So at this point, I really just need to pass the written test, which I'm not very hopeful for, and complete the service credits and the subspecialties, which I have a plan for. So before I came up here, downstairs, walked by the ballroom to get to the restroom, I told myself not to look. I couldn't help it. I glanced over. So I'm pretty sure for my open category picture, which is the picture of me smoking the front of the hive, I'm quite confident I saw a blue ribbon on that, or I'm sorry, a red ribbon for second place. And then came up here, and one of the judges that I recognized, and she recognized me, said, "Congratulations for something." And I immediately told her, "Hey, I haven't seen anything, don't tell me." And then the other beekeeper that entered into the electronic media category, she was up here to test, and she said, "Congratulations on the electronic media." So considering there's only 2 of us, I imagine I placed with that. So, based off my own lack of discipline from not looking to the right into the ballroom to see the 1 ribbon, and then the two other folks that said congratulations, I imagine I placed in at least 2 categories. So let's walk downstairs, take a look at that, see what that looks like, and well, I'll just show you. I'll show you all the entries because that's pretty cool too. Really for myself to look back on to see what people have entered and how they placed and all that. So yeah, let's walk downstairs. Let's look at the artisan section, see how everybody did, see if I placed in 2 or more categories. So let's check it out. Yeah,
I didn't know who that is.
I peeked over. I didn't want to, but I peeked over and I saw the one. Okay. Yeah, look at that. 2nd place, huh? Nice. 3rd place. That one's good. That's cool. I'm not surprised about that.
Well, I would say it would have been 1st place if this was all full brood.
Yeah, I mean, you know. what can you do?
So they took a little bit off since it wasn't full brood. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
man.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good
Cool.
picture.
Yeah, it's a cool one too. All right, let's see what else we got here. I'm not surprised about that one either placing. That one's super cool. But man, this is what I want to know what people shoot with. Like, what do you what are you using to take that kind of picture, you know?
Yeah, look, look how big that bee is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how do you make
That's
it
what I'm
bigger
saying.
like that, you know?
I have no idea. A very expensive lens.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
I didn't see
Because
those.
I entered in 24, and I think there was only like 2 entries, and somehow I placed 3rd. But okay, that's cool. Then
Yeah, I looked at all
Honey
that stuff,
label.
man. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
How you doing?
yeah, it is nice.
Good, thanks.
All right, let's do a quick walkthrough of the entire artisan section, even though some people have already picked up their entries. Hopefully whatever I was able to catch when I was walking around with Butch was good enough. I didn't enter anything down here, but here is the portrait, which that is interesting now that I look at it, because the portrait that I entered last time was disqualified because it couldn't see my face. Interesting. Okay. In fact, that's the picture I entered for portrait in 24. So for the open category, yeah, those are pretty cool. Came close. For macro, let's see, 1st place is gone. That was one of the Bee Downtown guys, which was an awesome picture. I thought that one would place of all of them, and then those are pretty cool. I have a picture very similar to that one. Scenic, I didn't enter anything. And then black and white placed 3rd. As you can see, 1st and 2nd have already been picked up. I think Bee Downtown, I think they placed in that one too. And then this is just, I don't know. This is just one of those things. Check it out. 4th place for the honey label. And here's 3rd place right here. So you be the judge. But yeah, not bad. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. 1st in electronic media. I don't think I showed that yet. 2nd place in portrait, and 3rd place in black and white. So pretty satisfied. All right, so I reviewed the rules just now because I was curious, and for the portrait category, which is very interesting, it says portrait or beekeeping activity. So that makes sense because it is a cool picture, but my disqualifying factor from 2 years ago, I think I mentioned a few minutes ago, was that you couldn't see my face. So there I am. I'll share all the feedback cards when I get home later so we can talk about that then. Probably at the dinner table. But yeah, overall, pretty fun time. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Again, electronic media, portrait, and black and white.
Photography, video, electronic media, Jeff Crane, NCSBA at large.
Yay! Alrighty, so hey, it is just after 3 o'clock. I'm obviously on the way home. Let's talk about today real quick. So
I did a little more than I thought I was going to do, and I may have mentioned this earlier in the video, but I had no intentions of taking the practical, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I had the thought of, hey, I'm here, why not just give it a shot. The written test, I may have a result maybe by Monday or sometime next week. Artisan Show, always fun. It goes without saying, but I am happy as a clam to have a first and second place finish, because I can use that towards advancing to the master level, because that's one of the categories for the subspecialties. First or second place finish in a whole bunch of categories, and one of those is photography. So that's cool. Plus it's fun. I really like that aspect of the state meetings, is the Artisan Show. The black jar label, that was fun. Didn't place it all, but that was just fun. And the honey label, or the honey bottle label, that was a new category from what I'm aware of, and that's always fun. So what I'm thinking is, once I get home, once the kids are in bed and it's a little more quiet downstairs, I'll just lay everything out on the dining room table, and I'll go over the judges' cards with y'all, read their comments, probably show you how I placed in all the categories, because I don't know if I did that last time being 2 years ago, and I haven't talked about it yet, just because, you know, time and place, right? It wasn't really the time or place to do all that at the meeting. Plus it's kind of busy and a lot of background noise. Picked up some goods, which is not usually like me, meaning I know I need wax, or in need of wax, because of everything I want to do. So thanks to the Blue Ridge Honey Company, pretty sure that's Bob Binney, but yeah, thanks to them being there, they had a really good deal on all their wax. So picked up a nice 15-pound block, because it goes faster than you know. So I'll be doing that here soon enough, just so I can stay on track with my February and March plan. And then shout out to Hilco, right? Met some really nice people, Joey and Courtney Green. They're the Hilco North Carolina rep, if I have that right. But yeah, real good conversation with him. Talked to him for a good while. He keeps bees, I think, in the Ashboro area. I was just looking at his business card, which is right here. It's a 336 area code, so I think that's right. Maybe I'll take a picture and add a screenshot later. But buttermilk, try not to miss my turn, buttermilk bees and Hull Mountain Honey. That's the name of his operations, because I guess he runs bees in multiple locations. Also a really good conversation with him on sourwood, and I learned some from him. He trailers some bees to sourwood, not in the same part of the state that I intend to, but Eastern North Carolina, obviously we do not have any sourwood. So anybody that I can meet that can help educate me just a little bit on that topic, how they do it, when they do it, granted location and elevation will be big factors. But yeah, anybody that I can meet that has experience doing something I am interested in doing, I will definitely bend their ear for a good bit. But overall, yeah, just great conversation. Cool dude. Enjoyed talking to him. Check out his company. They have a online presence, so like, follow, subscribe, do all the things. Yeah, just show them some love, right? And I picked up some stuff from them, so y'all are gonna have to stay tuned, because some of that stuff, equipment that I purchased, I will not be using until probably around late May. So yeah, that's right, I am going to leave y'all hanging, a little bit of a teaser. So check back then, you'll see it in action. I'll give you my honest review, feedback, first thoughts, first use. No unboxing, it's kind of lame. I haven't done those in years. for a variety of reasons. One being I find them kind of boring, or at least my unboxing videos I find kind of boring. So anyway, yeah, so whatever I'm talking about, you'll have to come back in May. And well, that video won't publish until June. But yeah, check back then. I'm excited to use it. I've been eyeballing it for a while, and I'm glad Hilco showed up to the state meeting and had Joey and his wife Courtney there as representatives, slinging some equipment. All right, that's it for me. I'll be home in about 40 minutes. Again, the next clip, as long as I stay on track, will either be today or tomorrow. But yeah, I'll just put everything out on the table from the Artisan Show, show you how I placed a little, you know, maybe better, because earlier I was just walking around trying to film and I don't really know what the audio was like or how it looked, honestly. So I'll do a better job of that if need be. But what I really want to share is the judges' cards and their comments and all that stuff. So if anybody's a North Carolina beekeeper and you're interested in entering competitions, but you've been reluctant to do so, this is just 2026 me talking to like 2020 me. Do it. It is fun. You get feedback from the judges in whatever category, obviously, but it is fun not just to enter. It's also fun to see, I hate to say validation because it just sounds a certain way, but to see the validation with a ribbon, of course, from one of the state judges. All right, enough yapping. Again, I'll be home in 40 minutes. Stay tuned. We'll see whatever happens next. But yeah, real quick, it is 40 degrees and extremely windy. Definitely not getting into the bees today, but I also haven't looked at next week's weather, so hopefully that hasn't changed much, because if it hasn't, my plan remains the same, which is adding some pollen patties to all the hives, because I'm very confident they need it.